It's Oklahoma Archery. Everything archery based out of Oklahoma for Oklahomans. Let's get it started. Hello, everybody. I'm David Bosca.
I'm Neil Cooley, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Archery Podcast.
We got it short and sweet today. We got it. It's just going to be us two, folks. It's just Neil and I was talking yesterday, and we're like, hey, who can we have? Who can we invite? And I'm like, well, how about if I invite you?
There you go. I said, I'll meet you at the same spot as every week.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's
coffee.
Yeah, it's too windy to shoot, too windy to fish, probably even too windy to turkey hunt out there right now. So hope everybody's on your way to the Minden Pro-Am. Got a whole bunch of Okies going down there for that one right now. So safe travels to everybody that's going. Me, I'll be staying home this weekend. It's gonna be a little bit wet and wild this weekend. We got a couple of qualifiers currently on the books. Be sure and check the Facebook page Friday. If either of those ends up getting moved or canceled, we want to get that information to you as quickly as possible. It's April and May in Oklahoma, y'all. There's not a lot we can do about it.
So what two are on the books currently?
We've got another double. We're all out east. Connor State in the morning, tentative 10 o'clock start time, and Into Deep in Henrietta, 2 o'clock start time. So they're about an hour away. You go out to Connors for the early one. You drive back, and you got to drive right past another qualifier, so you might as well pull in off of 40 there at the big quick trip and take about 6 miles north, hang a left, and you'll be right there at it. So it doesn't really matter where you're going to Connors State from. If you're coming from Tulsa or if you're coming from the Oklahoma City metro, you've got to drive home right past Henrietta. So we put that one in the afternoon so you can, hit that one on the way home and either keep a good score rolling or if you're like me, give you a chance to redeem yourself. Hope to turn it around in the next hour on the drive.
Stop at the local station and buy a new pen.
Something like that. Yeah. Something like that, or some caffeine from Quick Trip, or a roller dog. I like the little buffalo chicken with the little piece of cheese in the middle of it. Those things are good, dude. I love those things.
Oh man, I can't say I've ever had that, and that doesn't sound good, but I know what you're talking about. I've seen them.
I don't know that you could call it chicken, but it looks like chicken. It's got the consistency of chicken.
Parts of it might have started out as a chicken.
The only thing you don't want to know is which parts. Yeah, it's beaks and gizzards for sure.
Yeah.
But
we got the Minden, Alabama main Pro-Am this weekend, like you said. I know there's several Okies going down. I texted a handful of them yesterday and told them good luck and safe travels and all that good stuff. But I'm also hearing their weather may not be good either.
Yeah, I think they're going to get it Friday, Saturday. We're going to get it Saturday, Sunday. So, and I think the last 3 times I've driven back from Minden, I've had to drive back home through a tornado. First year was with Dan Gaston. Can't remember who I went with the next time. Sean Dyke and Steve Wingo. And then last year had Hunter Hume for first Pro-Am win. Drove him all the way home. And I told him that morning, I said, hey, you better go win this thing or you're not getting a ride home. And he took that personally. Not all my threats are idle. And he went out there and won the thing in the barebow division. And I said, okay, I guess load up in the truck. I'll drive you home then. So that was
a picture with your trophy.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was real good because they didn't have all the they didn't have all the scores in yet. And big shout out to Jenny she was running the trailer and putting scores in, and she went and found me. She's like, hey, where'd your buddy go? We're going to do podium photos because it was just him up there, and they had to go. She left the trailer from running the whole Pro-Am and putting scores in for everybody and found one guy to come do his podium photo with the big giant check and the plaque and everything like that. So, hats off to the ASA for, they've got hundreds and hundreds of scores to put in, and everybody's like, hey, did I win? Everybody wants results, and they took the time out to go, find one guy. I was like, it's his first one. He's excited. He just won his first Pro-Am. So they came and found him, and we took some photos with him there. It was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah, that would. I hope that the weather holds out enough to where they can fulfill their TV time for the Sportsman's Channel. I enjoy watching it at home.
I think it's Minden is one that the shoot off is indoors.
Oh, is it? Oh, well, then
Yeah.
it won't matter.
Yeah, no, it's one of the. I think it's one of two that is. I'm pretty sure it's indoor at an indoor facility.
Okay.
So if they can get their round shot, and if not, they'll probably just take scores from the first one. But they've done all that change into how the pros shooter of the year is calculated this year.
Is this the one that rained out last year?
No, that was Metropolis that rained out last year.
Okay.
But they still had the pro shoot off. That was kind of what everybody was saying. They canceled our round so we could do the pro rounds. And it's like, well, no, if it's lightning and thunder and you don't want a 30-inch piece of aluminum hanging over your head as a stabilizer rod.
Yeah, yeah.
But can't beat Mother Nature. They got hosed on the weather last year for sure.
Yeah, and it was unfortunate for the organization because let's be real, they lost a lot of shooters in that, not being able to get their rounds. Hopefully they all got their panties out of a wad and came back this year.
Yeah, I think my one round at Metropolis was one of those head scratchers. It was like I was like 9 up with 11 12s. They're like, how did you manage to shoot that good and that bad? And I was like, well, you throw a nickel in there and 4 5 8s and you give them points back pretty quick. So it was either an 8 or a 12 kind of day.
Yeah, that's the one thing I have figured out is it's not as easy to get them back. It's easier just to keep them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep. IBO and go. If you're good enough to shoot the middle of them, you're good enough to shoot the top of them. So that's a good place to be. You don't want those on the bottom side lowers. Those kind of, if it's a 10, it's a 12. If not, it's an 8. So right there on the line. But it's a game of strategy. That's how we play it.
Yeah, and my 8 this last weekend was just below half inch or so below the outside of the line. I mean, it was definitely out. And it seemed like it was a mid 30 shot. I couldn't tell you. But yeah, it is what it is, for the most part, I do aim above it and I felt like that's where I was, but yeah, obviously I wasn't. So,
well, that's kind of part of it. You're just now learning the targets and figuring out where to hold and where to aim. So
shooting dots, that's all it is. Just find a dot up there and shoot at it.
How was your scope set up? Could you see at least where the 10 ring was on some of the ones in the light?
Oh yeah. I can see some holes on a lot. I can see some shafts. The very first one I shot, I have, let's see, my inserts are black. I got blue veins and I had a blue knock. It disappeared up there on every target. It made no difference. I remember Rick Archer and all them saying, dude, where's your arrow? So from week to week, I switched and I went to a white knock. Okay, you could see it a little better. And then I shot with 2 or 3 guys that had charcoal this and blacked out this. And I'm like, what the heck?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they want to complain when they can't see your arrow. And then theirs is a red vein with the dark bushing and a smoke-colored knock, translucent. I'm like, can't see that.
Yeah.
It's got to be white, orange, or yellow. Now, those are the only ones, or green. Green shows up good. Those are your 4 primary colors. If you want to, help the guys in your group out a little bit.
Yeah, I like I said, I switched to them white knocks, and I kind of like it because I can see them out here. I just one of those things that was right over my head. I didn't think much of it. Yeah.
Yeah, glass in your own arrows is always some part of it. It's like, hey, where'd that go? Like, well, you're gonna strain your eyes looking for a black arrow on a black target. Pretty good. But
done a little bit retuning. Dropped my rest just a touch. Got my bear shaft closer, and then the wind kicked up. So I'm not sure where it's heading. beyond 20 yards. Yeah, sure can't tell out there in the last 2-3 days.
Yeah, I was gonna say yesterday I was shooting. You can see my new indoor range here.
Yeah,
17.8 yards across the house. almost got that full 20 yards, but we'll count it as close enough. I was doing a lot of work at 3, 4, and 5 yards, and I was like, I need to see more pin float and practice executing, seeing the movement.
yeah.
So we opened up the side doors. It goes through the kitchen, through the dining room, and all the way through the living room. But
get you some of that tape that you stream across like at a convention, and then latch it on the side over there to where people won't walk through a hallway not knowing you're there.
Oh yeah. Oh, the velvet ropes.
Yeah.
I'll go steal one from a movie theater or something.
That's right.
Just put a maintenance jacket on and load it up in the back of the truck. They won't ask me
on
questions.
the side.
Yeah. If you're wearing a hard hat and a maintenance jacket, you can get away with a lot in plain sight.
Yeah, and get your little sign and hang on there, archery range in use.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
But I had a shooting yesterday and had a center serving come undone. It made it eight months of shooting that bow. I think I got it in either October or November, somewhere in there. So about three months last year and 5 months this year, just about. Made it all the way to May. So it seems like midway in the season is not when you want to be tearing your D loop apart. But got it back together, went over and saw Heath in his backyard. And I was like, have you left yet? He goes, no, what do you want? And I was like, I need that spinning string machine you got. I got to zip that thing on there. And if you've ever tried to reserve one at home versus on one of those automatic pressure, puts 300 pounds of tension on the string and spins it just perfect. That is the way to go, man. That is the way. There's better ways to do it. And got put a couple soft knocks and measured the D loop and all that good jazz. And 30 yards was hitting, so I'm not gonna worry about it. It was, tried shooting the hinge one time this past weekend. That was terrible. Remind me not to do that shooting 3D ever again.
Do you think it was your knocks? Is that what cut the serving?
I think so. I mean, I could tell I shoot a biter hunter pin knock, and they usually click on pretty, you can hear them, and what one's getting ready to go when they just mush on there, and it doesn't, if you don't feel it snap, that something is either rubbed a hole on it. I think it's just the sheer number of arrows I shot. I shot that bow for indoor, shot it for 3D. It's been the one and only bow that I've shot all year. And anytime you're running something over it over and over again, that's a moving piece, it's just something's gonna go.
I wonder if it was the serving itself might have been a little large anyway to begin with, because my servings will last forever.
Well, you put super glue on all yours.
Well,
it helps durability. Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, I think mine was just repetitions.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I might have had my soft knocks a little tight, but a little tight on there. It seemed like they were getting tighter and tighter, because I remember when I tied it on, it had just a little bit of wiggle room. And I think it was, by the time it was done, I couldn't move that knock in between there. So I think it was just the sheer amount of arrows that I've shot over the past 6-7 months.
Yeah.
And it's good time too. We're not even to May yet. Like, that bow will get me all the way through the state championship in July. It'll get me through Coleman first week of August. And I'm not real worried about it now. If it needs anything before indoor season, we can tear it down and work on it then. But we've got 10 weeks of qualifiers down. We got 10 weeks to go. So it's just a little game time change at little halftime adjustment. So I'm tickled that it happened when it did. Kind of glad I didn't go to Minden and have to deal with it there. But
oh man,
I've got, Bryce of Summit Bowstrings is who I use on my strings, and he's there at Minden. He was like, "Yeah, well, I'll meet you as soon as you get there. We'll get you fixed up." And I was like, "Well, I'm staying home." He goes, "Well, then I'm not going to meet you there then." So yeah, there's all kinds of people that you can get to help you out in a pinch. You know, if you need something there, we're an incredibly resourceful community. Most people like Bryce, he'll take a whole, you know, press and some serving jigs and everything like that. And there's people that take a bow not even out of the box, and they'll go to the Pro-Am and set it up on Thursday and shoot it Friday. It's crazy. It's crazy. It gives me anxiety just thinking about it. We did it 2 years ago. We were at Foley and everybody just got their titles in. They were doing it by pickup light. They're doing it right there at the Airbnb that night.
Wow.
You know, printing off tapes and shooting it in the morning, and shot in a 20 mark and measured it on I don't know if they used precision cut or what, or just found a sight tape, and they had 3 arrows, and that was all they needed to say it was good to go on a sight tape and on a tune. So we're good.
That's trusting it right there.
Yeah. I just being good at what you do, you know. I like to, you know, ease my way into it over the course of several weeks to, okay, I know I'm high at 40 yards. I'm not going to dip out the bottom on a 45 yarder. Now we can start, you know, rolling that indicator needle closer and closer to spot on. That way I know, okay, I'm on at 20. I'm not going to dip out the bottom. I'm on at, you know, 40, 45, my longer distance targets. I can aim, you know, if I'm low, I can just aim IBO and catch the top of the lower, no problem. But what I don't want to do is be adding yards to get to if it's 45 and I've got to dial it to 46.5, that's what I don't want to do. I want to be able to say, okay, Dave's got Dave's got an arrow in the lower. It's 45 yards. That's my max distance. I'm going to aim right at his arrow and put 46 on it, just so I'm on the safe side, you know.
See, I haven't played that game yet, other than the first Trosper World, first half. I always beyond 35 yards because of hard to see for me out there at the distance. If my bino or my rangefinder said like 34.3, I left it at 34. If it said 34.6, I went to 35. I would round up if it hit above the 5 mark, the decimal 5. And it did seem like I went high on too many. So this time, the majority, I bumped it. If it was 7 or 8 or 9, I would go up. But if it was 6 or down, I stayed at the lower number.
Really?
Yeah.
I would always, I shoot mostly lowers. I would always add 2. So if you're 34.3, I'd run 34.5 or 35, because that's, I mean, just that much take you from the middle of the 12 to the opposite. If you're shooting at the lower, you just want to stay out of the 8 ring. That's the biggest.
That's all I had aimed at. I have yet to climb to the top. That doesn't feel natural to me.
It's like tightrope walking between 2 skyscrapers. It's like, oh, we're way up here. Something bad could happen up here.
Yeah.
But you learn on certain targets, like your distance between the 10 and the 8 ring is like this out the top, and it'll be like this out the bottom. I think the mountain lion might be one of them. There's some guys that have looked, and if you miss low, you're flirting with a 5. Like, it's got a little tiny 8 ring at the bottom and a whole lot of 8 ring out at the top to blow out the top of. So I mean, on the one hand, you're strategizing like you're going to miss, and if you're at full draw, that's the last thing you need to be thinking is I'm gonna hit it. Yeah. So don't. But if it's a game of risk calculation and opportunity cost, well, yeah, it's better to touch one out the top and have 4 inches than drop one out the bottom and have 2 inches.
But if you're a dropper, if you drop your bow, I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a riser if I do anything.
So you miss high.
If I miss, it's going to go high, because most of mine was really close around the IBO 12.
Yeah.
So to me, it doesn't, I would have a hard time holding on the top one because my tendencies are to climb versus to drop. Yeah.
There you go. That's fair. And if you can see the 10 ring, which I very rarely can I see a 12 ring with my scope setup, but I can see that 10 ring pretty good. You could aim left or right side IBO and take a couple yards out and drop right into the lower.
Okay. Years ago when I shot with guys that shot one of them, he shot pins.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, he was one of the best pin shooters I'd ever been around. And he would look, every target would change, because if there was a spot, a dot, or an arrow, high, low, whatever, he would, if it was low, he'd put his 30 down low and let it rise up, or vice versa and let it fall down.
Mm-hmm.
Man, if I'm standing there full, I tried that on a few things to where if I'm like, look, I can see that arrow, and I can pull back and hold hard on that arrow, but I know it's too much yards. I would literally take a yard off and let it kind of fall below it. My mind knew that. So it wouldn't allow me to execute it knowing to watch my arrow fall below it. I would end up holding high, knowing it would, and vice versa. Man, I just can't do that. I have to put it on, and then I try and hold it on what I want. Yeah.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
One way you could try, the easiest one to do it on, I think, is the antelope. If you want to practice letting it rise, go to the point of where that white paint is. And usually your upper is going to be between that far and that far above that point on that white. Go to the point of your white, aim right at it, and add a yard, and you'll be under the lower. Add 2 yards, and you'll be in the lower. And you can kind of check your setup for how, like I try. I mean, it doesn't always work, but that's the best place to see where that brown and that white paint meet right here. And you got that little peninsula. You just come up to this right here and aim right at the corner and let your arrow rise into it. If it's 35, put it on 37 and test and see if you're blow it out the top or not. And it's a lot easier because it gives you something solid, that color change to aim at, or at least you're looking right at a line. Once it gets shot up on there, you're not going to be able to do that. But if it's a semi-new target and has a good paint on it, which you hope most of your targets are going to be that way, like pro-ams and stuff. But club shoots, you never know what you're going to get. But if you can see that color change, you figure, you're 2 inches to 2.5 inches below the center of the upper 12. So it's a lot easier for some people to do. Like, and if you can only see the 10 ring, you just aim left side, right side of IBO and let it rise and fall. And some people are, I'm aiming IBO at some of them that if I can't see anything and it's like a really dark target and I'm leading off on it and it's 40 to 45 yards, I can't see where that 12 is. I'm just trying to play it safe and not shoot an 8. Right. So that is something that, if you can find that 10 ring, because it's so much bigger, and get your pin in it, just fade left or right side, take a yard out and play it super, super safe. A yard is not enough. 1 inch off the IBO is not enough to catch an upper or a lower most of the time. But you give yourself that chance. And for me, I get so much more stability in my shot aiming in the middle of the 10 ring, because it's such a big, it's this big, that 10 ring's like this. So if I'm aiming at a 5-inch circle or 4.5, 5-inch circle, whatever it is diameter wise, that's a lot less than aiming at one of those. And if you can't see anything out there, just put it middle and let it eat. Yeah. But at that same time, every one of them that you don't hit, somebody in your group's going to go get one. So you got to give yourself some kind of chance to go at it. So, aim center and add 1.5 yards.
I think just going on the range is enough chance.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you've got a good group in the super senior known. Those are some of my favorite people. I'm jealous of you. You don't have to shoot against Jack Shaw and all them.
Those card killers,
card carrying AARP members.
Yep, I've enjoyed being back. I've had 2 shoots and it's been fun. I don't know when I'll get to another one, but yeah.
Yeah, mid-May. I bet you'll go up to Bartlesville.
I was trying to think. There was something the first week of May, and I don't remember where it was at, but I don't remember there was something I had going on there real quick.
The AMAM in Paris, Texas.
Yeah, I can't do that one. I got a granddaughter graduates high school that weekend.
The OSAA state's coming up. First week of May. Archers for Christ is in Texas, and the OSAA is here in Oklahoma.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have it listed. So first
Center,
week.
a whole tournament full of center tens, Dave. Imagine that.
Yeah, I don't have anything listed. Yeah, next week for work. I got to fly up to Fargo, North Dakota. But and I'll be back that Thursday, but I don't have anything for that weekend yet. I don't know what I'm doing. That was that second and third. So
Second and third. I think that's our OSAA state here. I think Trosper has it this year, or maybe Tulsa. I think Trosper has it.
is there anything? I mean, so that's the only local.
Yeah, the other one is the big quad state qualifier, Archers for Christ, and they put it on as I think it's a buckle shoot. Might be a buckle shoot, might be a quad state qualifier. I think there's a buckle on it. I'm not sure. We'll get Brad and Tara on here in a week or so and talk about that one and the AMAM, but have to double check. I know once a year Archers for Christ does their big buckle shoot, and it's a quad state. It's down there in Paris. It's not where the AMAM is in Paris. That one's at the Civic Center. There's also a range that's just probably 10, 15 minutes down the road. Super flat, easy to walk. They'll set probably 60 targets, have a 130 range for the long classes and 130 range for the short classes. And they do a fantastic job. I love that. I love that tournament down there. It's always a good turnout. And I think they're doing it at quad state for Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana. So it should be a big draw.
And you said your Paris Am shoot is the 16th, 17th?
Yes, that should be 2 weeks after that. Yeah. So we'll have Jake Linker and Allen on May 9th and 10th. I think that's Mother's Day weekend. So we'll have that one, and then we'll be at Paris. And then the weekend after that will be it was supposed to be Gun Club and Bartlesville. Gun Club has canceled their qualifier. They don't have anybody to run it. Don't have enough volunteers, helpers. They're going to be out of town. So we'll just be Bartlesville. So we'll see you up north at Bartlesville. Paul and Brandy always do a fantastic job up there. So we're looking forward to having a little better turnout. They kind of got the bad side of the weather last time. It was about 45-mile-an-hour winds that day, and didn't have the turnout that we really wanted. So hopefully, them being the only one on that schedule that weekend, they'll have a good, because they set a great range. Bartlesville always knocks it out of the park. They just do a great job, and we appreciate Paul and Brandy. And I think this is going to be Paul's last year of running it. He's kind of told us he's looking to find somebody to turn it over to, and he's just going to be the help. That's always a danger. Tulsa just did the same thing. All the guys running it were in their 60s and 70s, and they were like, we want the young guys to run it. And now the young guys are running it, and the old guys are just browbeating the hell out of them. I'm telling you, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. It's like, hey, you guys told them they're running it. You let them do it. And if they're going to learn every time you do one, you learn a way not to do it. And that's been the biggest thing I've taken away from 3 years of being the state director is every time you take a swing on something, well, you're either going to hit a home run or you're going to find out that you should have been sitting on off speed. Yeah. Good swing and a miss. But so is it still indoor season, or can we officially say that this is that we are in outdoor season right now?
It's an outdoor season, but I didn't say 3D.
You can shoot skinny arrow if you want.
Yeah, that's what I got going also on that white bow, my snow camo.
So you took your indoor bow, you took your 27s off of it, and you're running your X impacts on that one.
Actually, yes and no and yes. I was shooting 25s indoors. Technically.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, when I got back, I went to a longer draw length. I went to I stepped up in a few pounds. I had it maxed out on pounds, and it was at 46. And so I bought a 55-pound mod so I can climb a little more, because my 50-pound mod's maxed out at 46 with the way I had it string and cabled.
Okay, you done some twisting on there.
Oh yeah, doing my stuff. So
I remember last year when you were twisting your cables up, you got some weird readings and adjust. You got a little bit of cable twist. Put your specs on your poundage and your holding weight, just all kinds of weird. Is it still like that on both years?
I'm not going to say, yeah, it is. I've got it done for me. Yeah. And,
You and every pro archer out there, there's not one of them that's shooting it stock out of the box. They've all got something they're doing to the bow, and they don't want to tell you that because, the manufacturers don't like that. But
I've got 55-pound mods, 75%, and pounds and holding, it's at 72.5%, actually.
okay, that's close. That's
Yeah.
close.
So, but it's at 32.5 inch with I think my holdings at 12.5 or 13 now. I can't remember.
Okay.
So that's up a little bit. Yeah.
As long as you're comfortable at full draw.
Yeah, I am with this release. Yeah, I couldn't do it with that handheld. Yeah.
You back to the wrist rocket?
I am back to an index release.
There you go. giving it the Jimmy Lutz treatment.
Man, I tell you what, it's been good for me.
Well, shout out to Jimmy. He just set him a world record 719 out of 720 at the Gator Cup.
Yeah.
Never talked to him, but if y'all want to tag him down in the comments, we'd love to pick his brain on that. Tried to find a way to send him a message to invite him on, but looks like Greg Poole done beat me to it again. So he's gonna
he strong armed you.
Yeah. Somebody told me that he'd shot that with the TRX and not the title.
I went back and looked at some pictures, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think it was. I think it was the title, but I'm not for sure. The pictures weren't real clear, but I'm pretty sure it was the title. But I
think it was was it Archery Hooligan or it was a meme that I saw that said he set a new world record, but he did it with a TRX that they've discontinued. I don't know. I can't verify the accuracy of it, but if he got one of those shooting that good to set a world record with it, I don't think anybody should have anything to say to him.
Yeah.
I'd say.
And he was shooting those Carbon Express arrows. So
with the Nano Pros, probably.
I think I seen that. I don't think it was the Maximas, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I looked at all their new stuff, and they're heavy grains per inch. They are that. Rick was saying this weekend, Gilly, he still has 6 or 8, and he said some of the best scores he ever shot outdoors was with those.
Yeah. You need a little bit of grains per inch. Same thing's true on the X10s. I mean, we've talked to Tom Stevenson before on getting the mass weight of that arrow right during development, and everybody wants to go light, but aerodynamics, that's not always what you want. So a little bit of forgiveness in I think the X Impacts are plenty heavy for me with 120 to 140 in the nose. I've had good luck with the Revelations. I don't see any reason to go to a micro. I kind of like my 4 millimeters pretty well. So they're grouping fantastic at distance for me for what I do, and ended up hunting with them 3 years ago. I can't remember. It's been a couple of years now, but those Carbon Express, the Nanos, people still talk about them being a good, and not having the price tag on them that some of the other arrows had. They were a lot more affordable. You get you 2 or 3 dozen, and pick your favorite 6.
Yeah, those X Impacts. I've got 120 in the front of mine.
120s. There you go.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Almost went with the 130, but I started with the 120s, and I thought, they're good. I'm not gonna change them out. So granted, I haven't had a lot of time with them, in all honesty. I've spent more time on the black bow getting it lined out than I had going back to
the 3D bow.
Oh, you just want me to say that out loud, don't you?
Dave
want that on tape.
He went and bought a whole new bow, whole new sight and rest and everything just to shoot 3D. He's ate up with it.
I'm not going to quite go that far. I bought a used bow, and I found this sight. I did buy a new scope and lens. Same old everything else. It's a good new set of bars.
It is a little different setting up the scope, because you want to have enough light coming in that peep sight, because you're going to be either way out in the open or way tucked in a bush, and your setup has got to be versatile enough. And I know everybody carries the Hamsky stuff with them. I've never pulled one out and changed mid-round. I've got it with me if I need to, but I've never actually pulled the trigger on doing it. Usually like London will be somewhere where you'll see guys either take the lens out of their scope or they'll take a bigger aperture and put it in their Hamsky. You just got to be ready for anything. Cause Pawnee was great because it was a dark target and a light target and a dark target and a light target. Yeah. I turned my light up and down as much as I moved my scope up and down.
Yeah. See, I just left it.
I think I'm running the ETAC on my 3D bow. I'd turn it down to 2 or 3, and then we'd be out in the sun, and I'd have it all the way up to 15, and then we'd turn the corner and be back in the shade, and I'd turn it down to 3 or 4 again.
Mine sets on 7, just about nonstop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you notice? What size pin are you shooting for 3D?
19 thou.
19. Okay. Yeah. My buddy was having his 10,000th washout. And we were telling him to get one of those Docs lenses, those yellow tinted high vis lenses. And I've never noticed, I just noticed that it makes the dark stuff lighter. But my buddy, Justin Parrish, was telling him that it also, because it's darker, it makes your contrast on your pen lighter. So you don't have as much washout. And I said, well, I've shot a 10, I'm shooting a 15. I'm usually either a 10 or a 15 for 3D. But on that 15, I really got to make sure and turn it down so it's not covering up too much of the target. Like I want to be able to aim precise. And if I get in a real dark spot, I got to turn it way down. Or sometimes if it's overcast, I can even leave my light off and go with it that way. So I would worry about like a 19 being so big that on a far away target, it covers up the whole 10 ring, and I can't tell where I'm at in there.
I used to shoot outdoors an amber lens anyway. Mm-hmm. I had what was called a 120X scope, which is probably pretty close to what I've got now, 41 mil. But the company was called 120X, and it was an amber lens. Actually, I still got the scope, and I haven't went back and tried it since I got this set up. So yeah, it'd be interesting. Hadn't thought of that.
It's good. Always go see Doc at the Pro-Ams and get you one. That's and always keep backup, because I'll shoot it indoor. It doesn't do a ton for indoor, but I've got the blue one also for Vegas faces. So it definitely is something that can kind of help you see just a little bit better, and you get in those real shady spots. And we kind of try to tell the clubs, you can make it hard, don't make it impossible, but you never know what the sun's going to do if it rolls behind a cloud at the wrong moment.
My scope on that Excel is behind the pin. The pin is in front. Mm-hmm. So the color of the scope shouldn't make a pin change color for mine.
I think mine's behind too. Hang on, I'll tell you. Yeah, it's behind there. So here's your if I can get that up there. So my pin's sitting here. There's my lens, and there's my yellow.
So I wouldn't think that changing the color of the lens would change your dot. Yeah.
I don't know if it's coming out. Man, this thing's dirty. Golly, it's been used, by golly. But yeah, I like that. I like that little yellow filter in there real well.
I may have to go back to one like that. It's been a long time, so it'd be interesting. Yeah.
It looks pretty. See if I can get it to
I can see the dot show up. Yeah.
Yeah, dot.
Is that with a light, right?
Yeah, that's an 8.
What is that? Is that a fiber dot? How big a dot is that?
That's a 15,000th.
I say the way it's glowing right there.
Yeah, it looks a lot bigger, doesn't it?
That should be an indoor dot.
No, that's a 15,000th. It's clear, and it's got a blue light going to it.
Yeah.
Need to go pick up. I'm going to go pick up one of those E-Tacs down in Texas when we go for the Am, and you can change it. You can change it to any color. If you run a clear fiber, you can run it, white, purple, orange, red, green, blue, and a lot of people are having really good luck.
You don't make E-Tac, do you? That's what and you can't change the color of it. You said E-Tac.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Sorry, I'm going to get one of the Zebras from Brad.
Okay.
There.
Okay.
Yeah, and you just hold 2 buttons down, and you can cycle through all the colors depending on what your eyes like. I just want to run purple. It's everything on the bow's purple. The strings are purple. The scope's the sight's purple. My quick disconnect's purple. I want my fiber to be purple too. That'll make me shoot better.
Makes all the difference in the world.
It doesn't matter if you shoot good, as long as you look good doing it. I got the Summit Bowstrings purple hat matching. It's gonna be good. Yeah, it's gonna be the best looking nickel you've ever seen. It's all good. It's all good as long as it's fun and you think that whatever you're doing to the bow, because everybody right now is either changing bows, changing release, changing setup. Mine's the same. It's going to be locked in from February. I tried shooting the hinge this last weekend. That was an epic fail. It held good until I decided it needed to execute, and I think a lot of that's going to be what we call target panic. Bow starts to go off and gets a little shaky. But what it did for me is it let me see my pin in the middle of the 12 and say, okay, let's work through that. Because with the button, I was getting to where it would come close and I was needing to be squeezing on it. And I was throwing the bow at it and peeking around the peep sight and everything else. So go shoot you a practice round. Don't do it for score. Don't be like me and do it for score. Move your sight needle and be all screwed up for the next day. But that 20 or 40, there's 40 targets, 20 at Choctaw and 20 at Pawnee. It was really kind of a good mental reset to let that pin go where it needs to go and then work on executing the shot. It calms the brain down a little bit. And I think you talked about shooting a hinge before, just during your warm-ups, and then switching back to the button, just to let your mind's eye see that pin just nestled right in the middle of the target where it needs to go, and then saying, okay, now let's execute.
Yeah. My index finger, I didn't want to call it wrist rocket. My index finger, it's very heavy. I absolutely different than the way I used to shoot them. This thing it's hard to pull. So I'm pulling on it, and then I once I feel the right pressures front and back, then I can make it go off, because my finger is on it the whole time, and I can feel it pulling. But there's no travel in it, but it's dang sure a heavy release. Yeah.
I had my buttons are always set hard. And I think Ryan Thomason squeezed one. He goes, "Ooh, that's heavy. That'll give you target panic heavy." I was like, no, I'm looking at it the opposite way. I can't just touch it off once it gets there. I got to put it in there and really put the squeeze on it.
Yeah, that's what I've gotten.
It's different. It's different for different people. And, as long as you're comfortable at full draw, I don't think you're doing it wrong. I'll shoot some people's light triggers, and I set up and then I get in my peep sight. That was something that you and I talked about months ago. I have to preload. I have to get on it and then get in there and then just pull it out the back. If I anchor and get in my peep sight and then I try to wrap it, I'm never going to get the pressure that I need.
Boy, it makes me antsy. I've got to, as I'm coming into my peep, I've got to be, I got to be touching my trigger at the time I'm coming in. Or if I come in first, then I touch my trigger, then it's too late. I don't want to touch that trigger because I'm comfortable. And then my sight picture starts all over.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And that's been massively helpful for me. And you're always worried that it's going to, you're going to send one off through the woods too early, but it really doesn't.
You're touching it. You're not truly applying pressure to it.
Yeah, you're just wrapping your thumb.
It. Yeah.
You're just wrapping your thumb around it and pulling it out the back.
Yeah.
It's really kind of calming. But I understand how some people could be, a little put off by that. It could be.
Well, that Stan Onyx button I had, remember I could shake it and that thing would click, click. And I could shoot it, but I shot better with extremely heavy, and then, but I have a hard time feeling movement makes me want to stop my shot process. And for this to happen, if I'm pulling and trying to make this work, because this movement didn't work, I could feel movement. Well, that would make my whole sight picture. I'd want to stop. So going back to an index, the pull is all in the same motion to me.
Yeah,
so
you're staying in alignment. You're building in follow through.
Yeah, to where this isn't the same as this or this. It's two different motions for me. The way I operate my right side to my left side operation. So, but to me, I can wrap around, and it seems to be a little more common or flow.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you have any predictions for who's going to win our pro classes at Minden?
Oh no, I don't. I've always got the favorites that I like to follow, and I've always done it, but it's still I haven't followed 3D enough to know enough of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be, hopefully we're off the range in time, beat the weather and get home and watch the shoot downs on Saturday. Maybe not.
So if you was a betting man, you would not make as much money if you was betting on Kyle and the known pro, because he's just always in the top 5. So his percentages would be less for a return.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He's gonna be in the dance one way or the other. You're gonna have Kyle Lawson up there.
Yeah, Lawson's been into the last. Yeah.
Maybe Jimmy Lutz coming on a hot streak. I don't know.
He's on. Yeah.
Yep, that'd be a good one.
And Stephen, he's been picking some contest and doing good at. Stephen Hansen.
He's there. I saw a video. PJ put a video of him out. Yep, he was out there
rolling good on occasions. But the actual unknown pro, man, I think that's wide open. I'd like to see our locals guys get in there. Just like to see the locals get in there, but man, I think that's wide open. It's just according to how people are seeing that day.
Yeah, that's what I tell people about archery at a high level. It's any dog on any day. I mean, you can go out there and get beat by somebody that's not as good as you, or you can go out there and beat somebody that's better than you. You always hope it's the glass half full way of looking at it, but you never know. That's why it's exciting. That's why we tune in.
Those guys are so solid all the way around. It makes no difference. Gosh, even whenever McCarthy didn't make a shoot off or two there this year, dude, it's not like he shot 20 down. I mean, oh my gosh. It's just that the other guys poked it in there. Yeah.
It's a not a lot of disparity at the top.
Yeah.
You'd be 8 up with the same score, or at top 8, top 10 with the same score as the guy that made it in, just with another bonus ring.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's why you don't worry about shooting 8s, because it doesn't matter who shot the most clean. It matters who shoots the most 12s. So you got to go for it. It's like if it was who had the least amount of 8s as a tiebreaker, some people they just think that that's the way it ought to be. And I shot clean and I didn't shoot any 8s and and he made it in. It's like, well, it's not a contest to see how close you can come to the 12. It's a contest to see how many 12s you can hit.
Okay. So see, that's why I was going to ask you that question is, what is your way of thinking? Me, if I shoot a 200 with 2 12s, I shot more consistent than you shooting a 200 with 6 12s.
Yeah. I mean, you had less mistakes, but I had more bonus rings.
But that's what I'm saying. I didn't say bonus or point. I said consistent.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it's fickle that way.
Yeah, it is.
That's the way they break the ties. So,
well, you're going to have something. I mean, if not, you're going to have to go inside outs and that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that'd be hard. That'd be hard to do on a foam target. So that's the way they score it. I mean, it's all revolved around can you hit those bonus rings, and they're at the edge of the 10 ring, and it's just
and it always has been. I remember back in the early 90s, that was when they started putting 12s in it. It was like, what? I think it was mid 90s I started seeing the first 12s.
And lowers only.
Huh?
There's lowers only, no uppers.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Heck, we used to shoot 2D. We used to shoot NFAA, and that was all paper. That was a 3-arrow shoot. Those were 3-arrow shoots.
That'd be fun. I'd go for a 2 or a 3-arrow tournament circuit.
Let me see if I can remember how that went. Your first shot, if you hit the 10, what we call 10 nowadays, you got 20 points. The lungs was 18 and the body was 16, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's say you miss. You get a second shot. Then it drops to, I think it was 16, 14, 12 for the body. If you missed again, your third shot, I think it went 12, 10, and 8. Yeah. But you got 3 chances to at least hit the animal. Yeah.
There you go. So kind of like the animal round on field.
I don't know.
Because you get 3 shots at it, but you can't, your second arrow can't score better than your worst shot on the first arrow. So you want to hit it the first time.
Yeah. And that's how it used to be. So, I mean, it was fun because after the third shot, you're buying arrows anyway. So
that's one way to look at it. So I hope everybody has a good time. If you're going this weekend to Kansas, they got their big shot 3D experience. They do have a qualifier on Sunday. So they said if the Pro-Am is going to shoot on Friday, Saturday, we'll move the ASA side to Sunday only. So big shout out to the Shot 3DX guys. It's is it Flint Oak Lodge in Kansas? I think it's.
I was reading of them setting up and everything, but I didn't catch where it was at.
Yeah, I'm hoping the weather stays good for them because you're a lot farther out there on the course than you are at ASA. You can make it to the truck in 200 yards. Shot, you might be 2-3 miles back there. So I hope everybody gets good weather, and being up in Kansas, maybe they won't get the southern storms that we do, but. Man, that's a lot of work to get put in to get beat by the weather. So hoping those guys have good luck this weekend. Everybody gets to go have fun and stay safe.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Neil, let's wrap this thing up. I've got some shipping to go do. Looks like I had some orders coming in. Was sitting here.
Well, gotta make that money. We'll see y'all after Minden.
Yeah,
we'll make sure and do a big recap of all the Oklahoma's top 10 finishes. Maybe we'll do top 20s. There's going to be a bunch of them, and we'll see if we can get one of the top finishers to come be our guest next weekend. Let us know in the comments who you think it's going to be. It's not going to be me, so I'm staying home this weekend. So don't waste your vote on me. I'm staying home. But y'all go shoot your bow this weekend. There's plenty of archery happening out there. And if you're in town, we're going to try to do 2 qualifiers if the weather will let us. And, if you're driving back Sunday, you can hit them both. So go shoot the Pro-Am, go shoot the local stuff, go shoot the Shot 3DX, go shoot your bow.
There you go. See you later.
Thanks, guys.